at that point, and I was even lighter, like 190. So he just had a huge, massive size advantage of me in the sparring. But I believe I've worked harder over the last 18 months, and I know I'm going to be able to go in there and beat him.
On the tape, when he got really angry and he said, "Get the camera out of my face," what happened before that?
There was a lot of shit talking going on. Like you saw today at the press conference, he was saying, you're a YouTuber, you'll never be a professional fighter, I'm beating your ass, all of these things, name calling.
So you had 1 year of boxing at that point. 1 year of boxing.
Just being demeaning, obviously, and that's that,
Jay, can you talk to us about why Hasim Rahman Jr. as an opponent?
Well, look, he has a name. His dad is the former heavyweight champion of the world. He's 12-1, has a really good record, and he fits the part. He can talk the talk. We can sell a big fight because of this. Obviously, it's entertaining. Fans want to see that. Fans want to see the shit talk, and it's a big challenge for me. I'm always stepping up with every fight, increasing the level of opposition, and he is just that. He's a real professional boxer, and I wanted to check that off the list because everyone's saying, fight a real boxer. Okay, August 6th, let's go.
I just spoke to Logan, and he said he told you that Tommy Fury was going to pull the same BS that he did the first time. Has that door closed permanently on fighting Tommy Fury?
Yeah, it just, there's no reason now. He doesn't want the fight. He's going to find any excuse he can to get away, to duck, and he's just wasted a lot of our team's money, a lot of our time, and the kid needs me. He is the one making like $100,000 a fight. When he fights me, he's making a couple million. So he needs me. I don't need him, and I'm just sick of his bullshit.
In terms of shit talk, did you ever consider Andrew Tate as an opponent? He said that he would beat you up.
Which kid?
Andrew Tate.
Let's focus on August 6th.
Jake, how was it sizing him up?
Either both of y'all can go into this fight as our previous sparring partners. Don't know if that was asked that yet. Do you believe you have a slight advantage, it's knowing how he fights and doing sparring?
Yeah, I think I just worked harder. I think I've been more dedicated over the past 2 years than he has and gotten exponentially better. So that's what I'm banking on, and that's what we're hoping going into the fight is the case, I work so hard in the gym, and there's no way that he can match that.
Will the critics finally give you your full props after you fight this quote-unquote real boxer? As he's done the amateur pedigree, he has fought real fighters at this moment. So do you believe the critics will give you that?
I think they'll have to. They'll have to respect it. Even if they don't like me, they'll have to respect it and be like, okay, he fought a real boxer and he won. And I plan on winning in a vicious knockout. And once I do that, people are gonna be like, Jesus Christ, he just knocked out a heavyweight.
Your reaction to seeing Hasim Rahman Sr. here, former heavyweight champion of the world, does that make any difference to you having him across the table?
I think it's cute. He's going to hold his son's hand into the ring, hold his hand along this process, to bring a kid to work day. He can't do this by himself. He needs his daddy. He needs his daddy.
About him not working hard.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Like, his own dad is just talking shit about him. So I don't know. That whole thing was just a bunch of debauchery. It's just like talking to a wall of stupidity. That whole family.
Were you surprised that
90% of the comments I get in my mentions are that the fight's staged. He's going to take a dive. Plus of one sparring session. Meanwhile, sparring sessions happen all the time. Can you please squash that or address that? Because I'm getting tired of seeing them in my mentions.
It's fucking ridiculous. Like, it's illegal to do that, first and foremost. Secondly, sparring partners spar all the time. Look at Triple G and Canelo. Look at Dillian White and Tyson Fury. So this is a common thing, and they have so much pride and ego, and like you see the real tensions. You can feel that energy in the room. So the people that think that are obviously just the Jake Paul haters who want to discredit any single thing that I'm doing.
How much do you expect to weigh in the ring when you go into the fight?
How much will I weigh?
Yeah.
I'll weigh like 195. I walk around at 195.
How much do you think you'll weigh in at?
Probably 195.
195.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's not allowed to weigh more than 210 in the ring. Or he's second day weigh.
No, the second day weigh-in Saturday morning.
Okay.
He can weigh 215 Saturday morning.
215.
And the night of the fight, he can weigh whatever he wants.
Is there any rematch clause in this fight in case it doesn't go your way?
I don't believe so.
Why a heavyweight, Jay? You haven't fought a heavyweight yet. Why a heavyweight now?
Well, he has a name. You know, for me, it's hard to find a perfect opponent because they have to have a big name. They have to be a good fighter. They have to be a professional boxer. I wanted to check that off the list. And so he just fit the whole entire description. And I know what I'm capable of. If I'm knocking everyone out at cruiserweight, then why can't I knock out someone at heavyweight, you know?
Talk about scrambling to find a new opponent. And how you landed on Rahman Jr.
Yeah, look, there was a couple of names on the list. We were looking at Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., but he couldn't do it. And really, Hasim Rahman Jr. was the best option, and called him up right away, and he was immediately down.
Jay, could we potentially see that fight versus you and Julio Cesar Chavez?
I would like that.
If he gets, gets his situation under control, and you think that could also do a mess?
Yeah, I wish him the best in his recovery and all that, but as soon as he's better, I would love to make that fight happen. I think it's a great fight, and I know I could beat him, and that would be cool to beat a former world champion. That would be a step up and another accomplishment in my career.
Jake, what does Hasim do really well that you're worried about?
What does Hasim do really well that I'm worried about? You know, I think fighting a southpaw for the first time is going to be interesting. You know, I've practiced a lot with it. I know he's going to come out southpaw, but obviously everything's different under the lights, and he has a 4 to 5 inch reach advantage. So just going to have to close the distance, close the gap, and get near him and make it rough.
Have you now separated yourself from the other YouTubers in boxing? Think about KSI.
Yeah,
he's got it. Any comments on that fight? The KSI fight?
It's not even close. You know, it's just two different worlds. You know, they're what they're doing is cool, and I respect it, and I'm rooting for Alex Wasabi. You know, but it's just not the same level of shit that I'm doing, you know, as far as competition-wise. You know.
Rahman did lose his last fight, but he did throw 50 punches around. You've not seen 50 punches around. Literally averaged, I think, 30 in the second fight. First fight, he was throwing about 20 punches around. That's a new wrinkle. Besides being a southpaw, he throws a lot of punches. Are you ready to see volume, and do you think there'll be opportunities for counter shots?
For sure. I mean, he was throwing a lot of punches, but it was because the guy was sitting there as a heavy bag. You know, he couldn't get out of the way. So when he's fighting me, that punch count's going to come way, way down because he's not going to be able to hit me.
Jake, thoughts on fighting at Madison Square Garden, such a historic venue?
This is surreal. Like the fact that this is all happening is a dream come true. You know, the 12-year-old version of myself would be giving me a high five, and you'd be so proud of what I've done and what I've accomplished. And this was a dream come true. I wrote it down on my bucket list when I was 18 years old to sell out Madison Square Garden. I didn't know what it was going to be for or why, but here we are 7 years later selling out the most iconic venue in the world. It's pretty remarkable.
Do you consider McGregor responding to your win? Because I feel like he used to not respond at all, but now he does. To me, he's got your attention.
Yeah, no, 100%. You know, he's been looking and paying attention to everything the whole entire time. He has to. Numbers don't lie. And at the end of the day, you know, very few times in decades and centuries do massive names and massive fighters come out of the woodworks. You have the Floyd Mayweathers, and then it was really Conor. And guess who's next? It's me. And so everyone has to pay attention to that. No one has done what I've done in 5 fights. No one has sold this many pay-per-views in 5 fights. No one has sold out this many venues in 5 fights. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm the new kid on the block. I'm the new king on the block. Highest paid. The numbers prove it. And so he has to pay attention. And he knows that I'm the money fight for him. Who else is he going to go and fight right now?
Jake, you said that there's weight divisions of boxing for a reason. He's much bigger than you. You said you want to knock him out, which would be great for a highlight reel. If you don't knock him out, but you get a decision victory, is that sweet enough for you?
Nah, I'm going for the knockout. You know, especially for the fans. People watch me now because of the knockout of the year. People watch me because of knocking out Ben Askren. People tune in to see that from me, and I'm going to bring that to Hasim Rahman Jr. Even if it's not a deadly KO, I guarantee you it'll be a TKO, and the ref will have to pull me off him because I'm going in there and I'm going to get fucking vicious and rip his fucking head off.
Isn't that a lot of pressure, though? You come from the world of going viral, so in boxing, getting a sound win is still good. But do you feel like you have to deliver a knockout because you want those viral moments?
I do. I feel like that, and I train for that, and I let that pressure in camp fuel me. I let it motivate me, and man, when I have a challenge like this, people aren't going to believe. Like, there's no reason I should beat this kid on paper. But when it happens, when I knock him out, what the fuck can anyone say?
Do you think your status as an influencer makes your opponents intimidated or especially nervous to go up against you?
Maybe. You know, I would say so. I don't think they like the trolling. But for me, more so, it's about fighting in front of 20,000 people. You can't replicate that. And that's something that I've done now a couple of times. And so having that experience under my belt is a really big advantage going into these fights.
Jake, usually in the highest levels of boxing, a fighter or a champion gets 8 to 10 weeks of a camp to prepare for an opponent. You're not going to get 8 to 10 weeks to prepare for Hasim Rahman. Does that change or worry you at all?
It doesn't. It doesn't. You know, I'm always ready. We make adjustments fast. I'm a quick learner. And so, yeah, I only had 30 days to switch to training for a southpaw. But for me, that doesn't matter.
I told Ariel yesterday that you saved the sport, and that without you, it was floundering. I think that's what you said. Can you explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, I mean, no one was watching boxing. There wasn't any hype around it. You know, you'd watch occasionally the heavyweight fight or, you know, maybe Floyd, but then as soon as he retired, everything got really boring. And there was an era where there wasn't any fights that anyone heard of. No names were breaking out. It was a very stagnant period. And so when I came in and switched the whole game up, brought in the social media element, brought 60 million followers over into the sport, you see a difference, and it's made an everlasting impact.
One more question, guys.
The year boxing's having right now.
It's great. That's what I'm saying. There's so much momentum, and now you see boxing taking over MMA. The MMA scene has been fucking dead. The UFC hasn't been putting on any events that anyone is talking about, yet boxing has had massive fights back to back to back, and it's been really fun to see, and boxing's taking over MMA again. Congratulations.
Top three in boxing right now.
I would say Devin Haney, David Benavidez, and Errol Spence.
No Canelo.
Ryan Garcia fight?
No Canelo, the fuck.
Thank you guys. Thank you.